When people refer to houses as creepy or eerie, usually it's some old Victorian that's seen better days. There are other houses, though, ones that inspired the urban legends about haunted houses. And today, we're checking out one of those. On the edge of Ravenshade Town stood the Hollow House, an abandoned mansion that had been left to rot for more than 100 years. The rumor was anyone who set foot inside never returned the same. Some said they went mad, others that they disappeared. And after the gate swung open one October night, no one ever saw them again. But these were just stories until Ethan decided to investigate. Hi, I'm your host, and welcome to This House Has Ghosts. I know how popular these sorts of videos are right now, so let's dive straight into it. In the late 1840s, Ethan Hawksfield was a journalist who prided himself on debunking the paranormal. While there was no shortage of ghost stories where he lived in Ravenshade, none of them held up to scrutiny. Or so he thought. One evening, as he walked home from work, he passed by the abandoned Blackwood Manor. Its broken gate hung precariously off its hinges, and even though it had been boarded up for decades, something inside seemed to be moving. Though Ethan couldn't make out what, it didn't stop him from making a plan. The next night, armed with his trusty flashlight and camera, he slipped through the broken gate. As soon as he stepped inside, though, he knew he was in for an adventure. Ivy and creepers blocked his path. The brickwork was covered in moss, and the roof sagged under the weight of all the dead trees that had grown around it. A floorboard creaked under his foot, and suddenly the front door swung open as if inviting him in. So he did. Inside, the air was thick and damp, heavy with the smell of decay. The only light came from the moon shining through gaps in the boarded windows. The first room he came into was filled with trash, but in the center sat a long dining table made of dark wood. At the far end, intricately carved chairs were pulled out as if waiting for company. All around the room were strange symbols carved into the walls. They looked ancient and otherworldly. Most were circles with a triangle in the middle, but there were other designs too, which seemed to hold some kind of significance. As Ethan walked through the house, the air grew colder, and he could feel eyes watching him from the shadows. Suddenly, he heard a knock from upstairs. Ethan froze. Where did that come from? This house had been abandoned for more than 100 years. Surely it was just his imagination. He continued his exploration, determined not to be scared. In the corner of one room, he noticed a half-open diary. The cover had fallen off, and the pages were brittle with age. But as he read, he felt a chill run down his spine. It was the story of a family who moved into the manor all those years ago. They were wealthy aristocrats with strange beliefs. According to the diary, they performed rituals in the dining room, summoning spirits from another dimension and sacrificing animals to gain power. That explained the strange symbols. But why? Why would they do such a thing?
Then he found the answer in the master bedroom. On the wall hung a faded painting of two people.
It looked to be the parents of the diary writer.
Beneath it was a large mirror, its surface cracked and dusty.
Then he noticed the carving above it. It was a circle with a triangle in the middle, just like the ones downstairs. And then he saw it. Behind him in the mirror, a tall man stood watching him. It was the same man from the painting, dressed in a long black coat with a wide black hat hiding his face. But that was impossible! The mirror was in two-way glass. There was nothing behind him. Ethan backed away, bumping into a chair. His flashlight fell to the ground and died. All around him, the darkness seemed to writhe and twist. Then he heard voices. At first they were soft and distant, but grew louder as the seconds passed. Ethan? Ethan? Come play with us? They whispered. In the corner of the room, he saw them. 3 children dressed in rags. Their faces were pale and drawn, their eyes hollow. It was like looking into a grave. And then he noticed something else. Their mouths were sewn shut. Then the children vanished and the whispering stopped. When Ethan blinked, he thought he saw them again, but they were closer now. Their eyes boring into him, he stumbled backward, knocking over a vase.
It hit the floor and shattered.
The sound echoed through the empty house. And then he heard footsteps, heavy footsteps coming up the stairs. Ethan didn't think he could run fast enough to escape, so he did the only thing he could. He turned around and ran back to the front door. As he burst through it, he realized his mistake. The house hadn't been empty when he entered. It was empty now. Each room he ran through was identical. The boarded-up windows replaced with mirrors, and in every single one of them, he saw the man in black, always the same distance away, never getting closer. He turned toward him. The man in black raised his hand and beckoned with his finger. Then he was gone. Ethan rushed to the front door, desperate to get away, but it wouldn't budge. He pushed and kicked, but it was locked. Then he saw the diary lying in the dirt. Had the family trapped themselves inside all those years ago? Was this house a prison? Desperation lent him strength, and he smashed through the glass panes, tumbling onto the ground outside. Gasping for breath, he scrambled away from the house. He dared not look back, but he could feel eyes burning into his skull. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs screamed for mercy. Finally, collapsing on a nearby hill, he looked back at the house. Through the moonlight, he saw a tall figure standing at the top of the stairs. It waved slowly, then pointed toward the sky. Was it beckoning him back? Did it want him to join the family in their eternal prison? Or was it warning him away? Ethan didn't stick around to find out. He ran all the way home, locking himself inside and throwing the furniture against the door. Maybe the rumors were true. Maybe some houses do swallow your soul and spit out a husk in its place. But he wasn't crazy. He'd experienced something that night, something he couldn't explain. But maybe he didn't need to. Weeks went by and Ethan avoided the town, staying inside and hiding from the world. Then one day, he got a call. A police officer asked if he was missing anything. It turned out someone had broken into his house. An investigation revealed that the intruder had ransacked the place, stealing everything they could lay their hands on. But one item remained, his camera. The police brought it back to him, saying they couldn't find any fingerprints. As Ethan looked through the footage, his blood ran cold. Most of it was just shadows and darkness, but there were 3 clips he hadn't seen before. The first showed him walking through the house, the children following close behind. He could see their mouths now, the way they twitched, as if trying to say something. But it was the second clip that terrified him. It showed him standing in the mirror room as the man in black approached. Just before the screen went black, he could see the glint of a knife in the man's hand. But it was the last clip that really frightened him. The house was dark, lit only by the beam of his flashlight. The battery was almost dead, but just long enough, he saw them. The pale children were in front of him now, their mouths wide, revealing rows of sharp teeth. They lunged forward, but he couldn't see their faces as they crashed into him. Only their mocking laughter echoed in his ears. Then the battery died. The police couldn't understand it. How could the battery have died? It wasn't even low when he recorded the last clip. But when they checked, they found it was completely drained. The film ended abruptly, cutting off his scream. Some say that if you walk past the Hollow House on a dark night, you can hear the faint sound of a music box playing. Others say, if you listen closely, you can hear the echo of children's laughter. And if you look up, you'll see the shadow of a man in a tall black hat standing in the upstairs window. Some say it's Ethan.